watch the full documentary as it airs tomorrow at 5 p.m. We'll get you details. And it's time now for Connect Africa. Today, we'll put a spotlight on Nigeria. Africa's most populous nation is scheduled to hold its general elections on February 25 this year. But given the widespread insecurity across the country, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is warning that the democratic exercise might be postponed or cancelled in many constituencies in the West African nation. After a crunch meeting on the matter, Nigeria's Inter-Party Council is urging the federal government of the country to deal with the threat in order to ensure the conduct of a peaceful election. For more on this, I want us to get to Ikemese Effiong, who's the head of research for the SBM Intelligence. Thank you for your time here on The Pulse. So let's get to it. We understand that a crunch meeting was held amongst the political parties, and their call to the federal government is for them to ensure security ahead of the elections. How feasible is that, looking at the situation in Nigeria? You'd have to unmute so I can hear you. I'm having some challenges hearing you. If you could just kindly unmute so we can hear you then. If you're with me, I'm just asking if you can hear me. Okay, well, Ikemese Effiong is the head of research at SBM Intelligence. Let's try one more to see if the connections will be right now. I was just asking about the security situation prevalent in Nigeria as we speak, and if indeed the insistence by the political parties to have the election come February is something which is feasible. What's your take on that? What's your take on that? Hello, are you with us? You'd have to unmute so we can hear you, sir. Well, it appears that we're having some challenges connecting to Nigeria. We'll definitely get some updates for you here on Connect Africa. We're just trying to hear from Ikemese Effiong, who's the head of research at SBM Intelligence. This is The Pulse. When we return, we'll get back to Nigeria and get the latest on what's happening there. Let's take you back to Nigeria, where there are concerns that the elections may have to be postponed or either cancelled because of security concerns. Ikemese Effiong is head of research at SBM Intelligence in Nigeria. Thank you for your time. I was just asking earlier about the crunch meeting that was held amongst all political parties there, the insistence by the Inter-Party Advisory Council to the federal government, asking them to ensure that there is a peaceful conduct of the elections. But how feasible will that be given the precarious situation of security in Nigeria? Yeah, if you can hear me, I'm just asking, we're having some difficulties again hearing you. I'm just asking how feasible it is to conduct the elections in this crucial time. Quite unfortunate that we're still having this challenge, but of course with the latest is that the parties have written to the federal government on this. We'll try and get you some details on that, plus get you more from Nigeria, but that's not happening right now. For now though, you're still with us on the Joy News channel. This is The Pulse, and the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavikwete, has been speaking. The NDC's chief scribe has admonished people of the Volta region to identify his party as a religion. He indicated that they must get accustomed to the opposition party, own it and believe in the NDC, irrespective of its performance in government and contribution to the development of the region. He was speaking at the opening ceremony of a 4-day retreat for Volta Regional NDC executives in Joje, in the Ketu North constituency.
The National Democratic Congress recorded a drop of 2.9% in the 2020 presidential votes and lost the Hohwe seat to the New Patriotic Party, which saw an increase of 3.3% in presidential votes in the Volta region. To change this narrative, NDC regional executives converged at Joje at a retreat to analyze the past performance, re-strategize and develop a plan towards the 2024 general elections. The Volta Regional NDC Secretary, James Gunu, partly attributed the 2020 performance to apathy and lack of voter knowledge. The General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavi Kwete, lamented that support for the NDC has been dwindling in the Volta region.
Now, I believe if we knew who we were, the situation where the love of this party will start dwindling even in this region should not happen. Because if you watch what happens in Ashanti region and even in Eastern region, you notice that no matter how poor MPP may be, no matter how bad MPP may be governing, no matter even how bad MPP may neglect those regions, they understand that their party was MPP and nothing changes now. Because somehow they appreciate that why are we going to ever forsake our party? Because this must become like a religion. Your religion may not be the best religion, but that is your religion. It's your responsibility to make sure you fix it, you change it, you bring changes within that religion. Somehow MPP makes it look as if it's wrong for us, Volta people, to take the NDC as a religion. There's nothing shameful about it. You go to America today, if you go to New York State, the Democratic Party is like a religion. Through rain or shine, that remains their party. You go to California, the same. You go to places where the Republicans are, it is the same. There's nothing wrong about it. You talk to some of our young people from Volta, they think it's something of pride to say, yeah, as for us, we are not like our fathers and uncles. We believe that we should not continue anything. They think it's something of pride. There's nothing wrong holding to the foundations that are the clear foundations that have built our country.
The Volta Regional NDC chairman, Mauto Agbavito, emphasized the need for a strategic direction and effective party management to increase the party's electoral fortunes. A master plan to increase voting pattern in the Volta region in the 2024 general elections would be produced at the end of the retreat. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Joje.
Well, the report there from the Volta region, the retreat there by the NDC leadership. But first, even before we head into our next conversation, I just want to try one more time. Let's get the latest from Nigeria. Ikemose Tefyong is the head of research at SBM Intelligence in Nigeria, where there are reports their election may have to be put on hold or either cancelled due to security concerns. What's the final decision from the EC on this?
So it appears as though the consensus, and thanks for having me on your program once again, and apologies for the audio connectivity issues. The final consensus is that the elections will go on. Billions of naira have obviously been sunk into ensuring that a successful electoral exercise carried out here in Nigeria. Security was always going to be a concern because of all of the elevated security challenges that are going on in the country. Every region of Nigeria, we call them geopolitical zones here, is impacted by major security challenges, whether it's the insurgency in the northeast and the northwest, or kidnaps for ransoms, as well as low-level forms of more ordinary forms of criminality right across the country, to to a low-grade militancy situation that's going on in the Niger Delta, as well as separatist agitations in the southeast. So there are security challenges to go around all across the country, right? But up until now, planning has pressed ahead, right, towards hosting national elections. And it was noting that in 2019, as well as in 2015, national elections held in Nigeria, despite the, obviously less than favorable security conditions that existed at the time. So it appears as though INEC and the security agencies are really plowing as much political will and heft as well as resources into this. INEC has already applied for a supplementary budget from the National Assembly, and the security agencies appear to have gotten more funding in this year's budget to ensure that they are able to deploy extra security, extra foot soldiers, boots on the ground, as well as equipment to ensure that the exercise would mostly happen right across the country. But this week, admission by INEC that some of that may not be enough obviously raises important questions about whether this exercise shouldn't have been postponed well before now. National elections occur in about 7 weeks right from now. So it's a pretty murky and dicey picture in the country. But I suppose planning will continue, and the strategy will be to wait and see and hope that there is an improvement in the overall security situation close enough to the elections that it's feasible for the exercise to be carried out without the need for other postponement.
And what's been the reaction from the general public?
So from the general public, obviously there is a lot of concern. Many people have planned, right? Not just business schedules as well as investment decisions with the mindset that elections will happen in late February and early March. But you also have a lot of Nigerians, for example, who are in the diaspora who are planning to come back home to vote. And obviously, this has been a very competitive election season, right? The president is not up for re-election. He's term limited, right? So there's no incumbent in this race. The political party is, according to opinion polls, in one of the most unpopular positions, as well as one of the weakest positions that the ruling party has been heading into the elections. And the opposition has been galvanized by the presence of a third-party candidate, right, whose ascendancy and whose popularity continues to increase by the day. So there's a lot of emotional as well as physical investments that have been made by a cross-section of Nigerians into this particular election cycle, and the postponement will end a lot of plans. And so generally, INEC announcement that the elections is likely to, the elections might be postponed under certain circumstances, was obviously not greatly applause.
Okay then, Ikemesete Fiong, Head of Research at SBM Intelligence, grateful. The conversation is just starting. We'll reconnect when the elections draw closer. I'm grateful for your time here on The Pulse.